This is it. This is the final design of the BYTON m-byte. This is what's going in production, and I'm happy that they're unveiling it today at the Frankfurt Auto Show. This is great news because don't forget they've unveiled this about a year and a half ago, and this is pretty much the final product. I'm very excited, but there is not such good news that I'm going to tell you about, though it probably won't be that surprising. But let's start with the car, and as you can see, it's a new color. I haven't actually seen this color before. Looks great. The front end is changed just a little bit, but I absolutely love it. The lights that you see right here, these little lights, they will change color. If the car is charging, it will turn green. If there's a problem, they will turn red, so that's pretty cool. I've never covered this part for you because I haven't seen it work before, but now that it's working, it is pretty cool. So now the door handles are also pretty cool. They are, as you can see, very similar to what you've seen on the Model 3, but my experience with them is a little bit better because you can actually kind of grab a relatively thick handle, and they are not metallic, so you won't burn yourself if you're in the California sun that I am all the time. So let's go a little bit on the back, and this is actually has changed from the very original prototype. As you can see, it's much smoother a design where you can pretty much run a line through the car. So I like that. And on the back, again, this is also final design. Still very round, still very much what the concept was all about. Very clean. Again, these lights, I absolutely love them. So the question, of course, is, are they going to get dirty when it's snowing? But you know, it's all about keeping your car clean, especially if you have a car that you love. So that's really up to you. All right, so that's the biggest news. As you know, the factory is pretty much ready. However, BYTON told me that they are going to have a production delay. There has never been a car manufacturer that went on production on time with an electric car, so this is something to expect. Now, I did talk to him in length about why, because that's a big deal. And the two reasons why there is a delay, it's about 5 to 6 months, so not really too big of a delay, but there are two things that I believe are very important. One is the interior finish and the quality of the interior. There's a few suppliers that are involved. Of course, there's a lot of designers that are involved, and they don't believe that they're ready to go in production where the interior is up to par. They're going with a nice kind of a German engineering type of an interior, so they don't want to compromise that at all, and I can appreciate that. But secondly, it's also an issue of a software development. They don't want to go to market with issues and bugs in the software. We've already seen other manufacturers go in production with software issues, and as you know, that causes a lot of problems. So I can appreciate that. It obviously, as somebody who is a reservation holder, it makes me a little bit more anxious about 6 more months, but at the same time, I'd rather wait a little bit, but have everything, especially in those two departments, ready to go. Now, another really good news is that the interior of the car, a lot of people, they'll never go to production with this big screen. They'll never go into production with a screen on the inside of the car, on the wheel, but they are. So check this out. As you can see, the screen is there. It is great. A lot of people are wondering, oh, you know, can you see behind? You can see perfectly fine when you're sitting in a car above that screen. As a matter of fact, to me, it's almost too low in some cases. And of course, it is a smaller screen here on the wheel, but at the same time, they had to make room for the airbag right here. And also, they want to make sure that your knuckles are not hitting the screen either. So it is staying, and I absolutely love it because a lot of functions that you can operate this car with will be on that screen. The screen in the middle, that's new. That is, how often do you see manufacturers adding stuff from the prototype going into production? But they've added it. Now, this is kind of a shared experience screen. This is mainly for the passenger. And everything is very much customizable, who's got control over what. So this one is going to be for others, not for the driver to control. They are also keeping the gesture controls. They just changed the mini radar, as I call it, to go on top instead of having it on the center dashboard, but they will still have the camera there to monitor the driver, for example, whether the driver is keeping their hands on the wheel, if they're maybe falling asleep and stuff like that. And they will still have 2 cameras that are built into the dashboard for you to take selfies, do the conference calls on video and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I love the interior finish. It's a two-tone, and this is probably the configuration I'm gonna get. The seats will still rotate 10 degrees. So if you want to have a conversation with somebody in the back, you can actually tilt both of the seats inwards. Really, really like that. So it is. I have to say, I'm kind of taken back now that I see this production version because usually that's not how it goes. I mean, we've seen it with Porsche, we've seen it with many other cars where the prototype looks great, and once the car goes in production, it's not so great. Not the case with this one. They've kept pretty much all of their promises and kept pretty much all of the features. One more feature that they're not going to keep is the facial recognition camera on the outside of the car. They've figured out that the technology for basically opening your car with your phone is pretty much perfected now, and that's what they're going to go with. Also, with the camera being dirty and so forth, if it doesn't recognize your face, it can get really irritating getting into the car. So they decided to get rid of it for other reasons other than technical. So I kind of like that. So this is it. They're going in production very soon at their factory in Nanjing, China, that I visited last year, hoping to visit them again once it's actually functional and the cars are rolling off of the conveyor belt, whatever the people are calling it nowadays. And of course, I'm looking forward to mine. If you haven't reserved your BYTON yet, there is a link in the description of this video. You can reserve one. Absolutely no money down. There's no deposit. You can just spend about, I don't know, 60 seconds of your time, reserve one, and be in line with what, over 50,000 people around the world that reserved the BYTON. I am so excited to see this car. I've been a fan for a long time, way before they sponsored this channel. And it's kind of exciting to see this car actually be ready to go in production. Of course, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.